Hi, my name is Siyavash Izadi, and I'm a PhD student at the University of Waterloo. Today, I'm going to tell you about how fast your brain works. So before we can talk about the speed of the brain, we need to talk about some of the fundamentals. Here, we have a brain. Now, you can split your brain into two different sections, the gray matter and the white matter. So the gray matter takes up about 40% of your brain, and that's where the processing really happens. In fact, that's why we have all these folds in our brain. That's so that we can increase the surface area, which means more gray matter. The white matter, on the other hand, that contains mainly axons, which connects the different neurons together. And you have a lot of neurons, about 86 billion of them. So it's really hard to imagine how many signals are happening at the same time all over your brain at any point. Now, there are a lot of factors that contribute to how fast a signal can travel. How many neurons does it have to go through? How wide is the diameter of the axon? Is there a myelin sheath that covers these axons? Now, for the sake of answering our question, let's just imagine that we have this ideal scenario. There's only one neuron, and it's covered in myelin and etc. A signal can travel up to 430 kilometers an hour. That's roughly the distance between Toronto to Ottawa in just 1 hour. But as you've probably guessed, it's a little bit more complicated than that. As these neural pathways get more complicated, the processing speed becomes a lot slower. So we use the visual system as an example. We have these incredible eyes that we rely so heavily on, so it would make sense to have an area of the brain dedicated to just processing visual information, and that is the occipital lobe. Not only it takes time for visual information to get from your eyes to your occipital lobe, it also takes time to process that information. It's been found that the average visual reaction time is roughly around 200 milliseconds. Now, all of this to say that even the slowest processing time, being the visual system, is still a fraction of a second. So, even at their slowest, our brains are incredibly fast.